Set.
That's why
Okay,
it's
we'll
so
call
dark in
the-
here.
I'm going to call it a December 7th Administrative Services meeting to order. It is 8:32. We have a quorum in the room. A roll call, Terry.
Here.
Teresa.
Here.
Ann.
Here.
And I'm here. That's 4. Can I have a motion to allow Matt Kunkel to appear online? By Teresa, seconded by Terry. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Welcome aboard, Matt.
Thank you.
That gets us to minutes for approval. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Sure. So
By
moved.
Teresa, seconded by Pam. Any changes or corrections to the minutes? Not hearing anybody. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? They're approved. Anybody sign in on public comment? Just say no.
I think you said that was a no, yeah.
Okay, all right. There's nobody here that signed in for public comment. Is there anybody in the room that forgot to sign up that wants to? If not, we will move on. Any members' comments? We all go at once. That gets us to routine consent agenda. Are there things that people would like to take off? I'm taking off 7.1 and 7.2. Any others?
7-4.
7.4.
7-3, please.
7.3, okay. Any others? Can I have a motion to approve 7.5 through 7.10?
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
by Pam. Roll call for items 7.5 through 7.10. Teresa?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes, so 7.5 through 7.10 are approved. Can I have a motion to approve 7.1 and 7.2 together, and then we'll get.
I'll make that motion, to approve 7.1 and 7.2 is presented.
I'll second.
And second. Okay. I pulled it. My biggest concern is, do we have any of this in a budget? It's about $4 million.
I turn in my budget for the sheriff's office in like June.
So
So
it's not-
this would be included probably in the emergency.
So the 3.5%,
Yeah,
So the answer is some of it is in the budget.
Okay,
How much
We
of it?
obviously anticipated having deputies and corrections officers next year, and we anticipated them having a raise. We didn't anticipate this being resolved as rapidly as it was, and that's a good thing. But this is the first time in many years we haven't at least gone to some sort of a
It's fantastic.
mediation.
Yes.
Yeah, it happened.
Arbitration.
It happened fast. New sheriff and new HR director and a very mature agreement that everybody wanted to get to the end. As we've been kind of talking about with committees, the market is very good if you want to be a corrections officer in particular. So we need to kind of keep pace with where some of our peers are, because we know they are looking for corrections officers. That's why we have late detainees here. That's why we have some cane detainees now on a short-term basis, because there's shortages of these officers. And we don't want them to come sniffing around ours, but we don't need to out. We need to overpay.
I'm not opposed to the agreement.
Well, I don't want to oversell it.
I just want to make certain that we've got some way to pay for it.
But that question, can I do,
Yeah.
I don't think that question was answered. How much is included and how much more do we have to consider?
And over what time period?
Thank you.
Well, it's a 3-year contract.
so the 964, the 8% market adjustment is not included in the budget. The 3.5 and 964,000 for Unit 2. And then the 438,000 market adjustment for Unit 1. The 279 is.
And that's in the resolutions,
Yes, it's broken.
separated out.
And we knew that this was coming, but we don't budget for things that we don't
No, I
know yet, so that's why.
It's not a complaint.
So
it's a
this will be
concern.
on as a board floor adjustment when we talk about it tomorrow.
That was my concerns. Any other questions from board members? Matt, do you have anything?
No, I don't.
I have.
Go ahead, Terry.
What did you look at lowering in the other budget areas so that we don't have an impact? What other areas do we look at? Public health or other budgets where we could go to have this
To
offset?
offset,
Mhm.
we didn't, I mean, we feel like we presented, there's no fluff, is that what you're saying, in
No, I'm
other
not talking
budgets to
about
cut?
fluff. I'm talking about attrition or head counts that really can't be filled because of this or what? You know, just what would we do? You know, if you had a household and they're like, oh my gosh, this has gone up this much, so here's my annual budget that I've got coming up next year, so what am I gonna have to move in order to cover it?
We resolved this last week. And I would say
It's a
that.
little early.
What's that? If the direction is to try and find the money, the additional dollars, we'll get that direction more on finance, I guess.
Any other questions? I'll go to vote then.
We
Pam?
made the motion for the two together, 7.1 and 7.2.
7.1 and 7.2 together is on the floor right now.
Okay, so the other questions have been answered otherwise?
My questions have been answered. I know we got some work to do.
Then yes.
Yes, okay. Teresa?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes, that carried those two things forward. Thank you. Can I have a motion for 7.3?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Terry, seconded by Pam. Whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
Was it Matt?
Yes.
Go ahead,
Yes,
Matt.
that was me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I on 7.3 budget, and it looks like there are some expenses, i.e. what you just saw, coming along that I think these adjustments have to be thought out very carefully before we go to ancillary things like renovations and refreshments.
Do you have a question of staff or anybody on that? Or, I mean, I don't.
Well, there's really no question to it. It's a matter of
Okay. Was
Matt,
this-
if you were speaking, you dropped. We didn't hear you.
Was this included in the budget? Was this anticipated, the expenditure?
It's in the 2025 budget under capital. There's $340,000 or $328,000 in capital for it, which this is $167,000, and that should complete the project.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I don't know if Matt's still trying to talk to us or not. Matt, are you still trying to talk to us? I can't, we're not hearing anything from you. Oh, he just removed himself from the screen, so.
Maybe he's gonna try to reconnect.
Yeah, because he got garbled.
I'm not. Give it a second. See if he comes back on.
So I guess my question for staff is, there's likely to be some discussion about the budget at our next board meeting, where I would anticipate perhaps some members want to talk about not funding the capital plan in order to maybe get another officer for the sheriff's department. What happens if the county board approves this, but then changes the budget so that capital plans aren't funded? Like, how does that gonna affect staff's implementation of our resolutions?
I mean, the total capital is 6 million, so I think this is just 100,000.
Okay.
So I think
The question's fair. Sometimes it is first in the door, gets funded if there's gonna be late changes,
Okay,
but there is a lot of money in capital. And I think there's some of the capital projects are probably, we won't spend it all. The potential to not spend it all.
Or consider it under ARPA.
Matt, are you back?
Yes, sadly, I'm pixelized and a little getting every third, fourth word.
Okay. Yeah, did you have a comment you wanted to give us?
Again, I thought my comment went through, sorry about that. I don't think we should be approving items that are not necessary as far as safety and security of our county ahead of 7.1, 7.2 issues, and especially ahead of the fact that the 2025 budget is not set yet.
Any other comments? Okay, I will go to vote, and Eric is now here. Pam?
Yes.
Teresa?
yes.
Barry?
We'll be discussing this again in finance.
Sure will be.
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Matt?
And I'm still a no.
Okay. It's approved 4-2. That brings us to 7.4. Can I have a motion on 7.4?
So moved.
I'll second.
And discussion, I think.
I pulled it, yeah, so I wanted to give staff the chance to talk about how the AI policy was created, and because I know that Ms. Schuler would like to let us know about this policy, because it's probably, is it more innovative, are we one of the first counties to create a policy for AI?
Well, you know what? Do you mind if we all come on up? We've got a lot of folks here that were part of this committee today. Is that okay?
Bring them on.
All right, everybody. Come on up. Let's do this thing. I know a lot of people are here, but come on, everybody up. And by the way, this isn't everybody. Just so you know, we had at least 20 members over time. Even one of your own, Member Shorten, was in on this committee too. So again, there's a lot of different folks that came about and help discover best practices. Come on up, everybody, come on. A little credit where credit is due. Come on, don't be shy.
Really, she's giving you the blame, but that's okay.
I'm not gonna stop. I'm obnoxious. So, but again, this is the cool piece about government work and collaboration. About a year ago, the topic of AI came up at one of our department head elected official meetings, and it came up that, there were concerns about how AI would be implemented across the county. Should it be, how it can be done safely with eyes to accuracy and verifying information. And so various department heads, sent delegates to be part of the AI work group. And you can see some of the individuals here, some who are hiding back there. But again, many of us came together and met over a course of a year to discuss best practices, to research, to learn about the National Association of Counties, best practices, to join the GovAI Coalition. I don't know, am I leaving anything out, guys, or anything? No. Pretty cool. And we reviewed different types of potential products that are, based in artificial intelligence for, potentially coming before the board in the future to, look at and think about opportunities for efficiencies and effectiveness. And again, one of our work products is the policy that you see before you today. And we're hoping in the future we can keep on meeting and discuss ways to train fellow employees on how to best use artificial intelligence to become more efficient and effective employees, or to use artificial intelligence to become more efficient and effective and serve the taxpayers better.
Okay.
And it seems like a ridiculous question, but so it's on the record. As part of your training and teaching people on how to use the AI, what kind of framework do you have again for oversight to make sure that once we actually train employees on how to use this, that it is in fact being used appropriately so nobody's misusing it, or that it's working in the way that we anticipate it working and making use of it?
Well, that's gonna depend on like the different type of product that you're using, but again, your first line of defense is always training to make sure that people understand the basic rules of, please don't put any personally identifiable information into an AI, period, full stop. That's a big one. But, there are different tools that can be acquired over time to block certain types of information being placed into certain AI products. Again, that's something that would have to come down the pike. But I think that first, the first step is to really get people to understand what can and cannot be done with an AI tool, and also the responsibility that goes along to make sure that you're actually verifying the information that's coming out and disclosing to the public when you're using it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all. Matt, do you have any questions? I think we lost him again. Okay. No, he's back. All right, go ahead, Terry.
Who do we know who's been has implemented this, and how long have they had it?
This particular policy?
Mm-hmm.
These policies are relatively new. It's based off of several different policies that have recently come out from the National Association of Counties that was done in the summer. But again, this is pretty cutting edge, but again, if you don't have a policy in place, you can't hold people accountable to, for example, not put personally identifiable information into AI software that is being used currently across the county. We did a survey up to this group that this group helped put together, and it was discovered that there are different people that are already using AI across the county right now, and we want to make sure that we're being responsible about it.
Okay, and to clarify further, this is just the policy for the county use, okay,
Right.
employees. This has nothing to do with county adopting different AI programs. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we will go to a vote. Eric?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Matt, if you're still here, are you in favor of, or you want to vote yes or no?
He's not there, his name's at the bottom.
Okay. I'll vote yes, and that will take care of item 7.4. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Brings us to reports. Capital plan update. Got stuck twice today.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
We talked a little bit about the government center, toilet room refresh. And that's it is what it states that it is. It's not a full-on remodel. It's the original fixtures, mainly the laptops in these 12 spaces are shot. They're particle board and laminate tops, and this is to replace those tops and refresh the plumbing a little bit, put some occupancy sensors for turning lights on and off, upgrading the lighting. Generally just a refresh on that project. We had originally anticipated that work at about $300,000. We scaled it back a little bit. We didn't get to work in the 1970 part because there's this ongoing idea of a space study, which we may renovate that space, and at which point we would want to do something different than what's in there. Crystal Lake Public Health ARPA project, and it's got a little bit of a merge of a capital project in there. That's in front of finance tomorrow for review and discussion. So that's primarily funded by ARPA dollars. Plans are ready to go. It's bid. We're seeking approval. However that lands, we'll find out. Another project that's upcoming is the coroner suite lab renovations. That's a project that hasn't yet been bid, will be bid. Coming up into late December into January with February discussion by the county board. Likewise with the administration parking lot. We've built some ad options into that parking lot renovation project. Again, that'll be out for bid. We'll see what that project comes in at, and the county board will have. Won't really have that information, actual bid information prior to working on the budget, but that project is coming up, and we'll see where that lands. But it's ready to go, should it land, and should we need to get going with it. administration rooftop replacement project. We have some partial funding for that in the form of a grant. That project is released for bid today, actually, for the mechanical installation component of the project. And we will see pricing back in 3 weeks. So we don't really have an option on whether or not we're going to do that work, because we've already pre-purchased the equipment that is going to land on the roof in March, whether we install it or not. So we're going to install it, and it's a lion's share of the project is paid for through this grant. Valley High Memory Care Wing, that project is substantially complete and is being punched out now with punch lists developed. There's still things that aren't yet complete on the work, but it looks good. I've heard Tom Anarella has invited the county board to stop out after the committee of the whole next week. So if you get a chance, take a look at it. It looks nice. That's really about it.
Okay. Any questions about capital plan update? Thank you.
You're welcome.
HR. Not that we've heard of anything you worked on.
I'm sorry.
Not that we've heard of anything you were working on.
It's been a busy year, that's for sure. It's been an exciting year. We've had a lot of successes and a lot of negotiations. Just to kind of step back and start with negotiations, just so you know, and in 2024, there was 3 union contracts. All of our Fraternal Order of Police contracts were up and negotiated. We modeled it a little bit after the Unit 3 because we saw the success and what was required to do that. So that was some of our approach to some of the other contracts. 2025, we get a break. We have no union contracts, but OMG 2026, we have 5 union contracts opening. So it's going to be a very busy year in 2026 negotiating 5 contracts. So, you know, unions are here. When you sit at the union table, you think they're union members, but at the end of the day, they're our employees that we are passionate about, that we care about, that we want things to be fair for them and to feel good about the job that they do. So that's just kind of working backwards in regards to the collective bargaining agreements we have. We just finished open enrollment. I don't know if everybody had a chance to take a view. The new 4-tier program was a huge success. I personally, when I did my benefits this year, I got to up my FSA and my outgoing only increased by $20. So that's just a huge success in the idea of recreating these benefits to be more affordable for our employees, a better recruiting tool. And again, in an economic time that's difficult, excuse me. So we're very passionate about that. We had over 700 people. I think we were just short of 70 people to make 100% of doing their open enrollment. So that's a big job on our staff. That's a lot of questions, a lot of answers, and good things. So people really had the time to engage in their benefit enrollment this year, so they understand what they have. I mean, people will call, surprisingly, they don't even know. They're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to put my daughter on the insurance. This way, when they have to step through it, they begin to understand what's there, what's not there. You know, making decisions. It's always good to shop and make sure that you have the right package. So we had a really good success with that. So looking back on the year, you know, we said goodbye to Cheryl halfway through the year. It's been a whirlwind since she left. But we keep a really fast pace. You know, we're still looking at continuing a lot of the programs that she originated, as well as developing, you know, a few more. We've successfully hired our wellness coordinator, Deborah. She spent some time in her career at Cancer Treatment Centers of America, working on their wellness program. So what a great addition for McHenry County. So we're very excited to have her join us. Wellness programs, we did a lot of fun things. We had a pickleball challenge between the sheriffs and the DOT, including ice cream and some cicadas that's decided to join us. That was quite entertaining. We had bike safety training and we did blood drive. We've done healthy cooking skills online. We're really listening to what the employees want and what they need. And mental health, we've had in-person speakers come and work with the employees in regards to how they're feeling and what they're feeling. Working with anxiety was the last one, and it was super informative. So those are all recorded on SharePoint, so employees can go back and visit. And we've really built a very strong resource there and have gotten good responses. Even during open enrollment, employees could go back and listen to Lorraine present on the different benefits, and they could understand it and hear it over and over again. So again, big success and huge things there. Recruitment, very interesting. We're averaging about 45 vacant positions. That's what we seem to manage. I will be emailing electronically. I know you guys like those reports electronically, so you can study them a little bit. We average hire about 10 new hires a month, but we lose 11 a month. So it's just this constant ebb and flow. So I've kind of done some turnaround reports. I've focused a little more on the departments that are struggling and hope to meet with them individually to see what kind of assistance we can get them, whether it's how they're interviewing, where they're recruiting from, what are they asking. The turnover comes very quickly in a lot of the careers. So are we really hiring the right fits? So so I'm going to be working very closely with those departments next year to see if we can bring that down and bring up our recruiting to see, you know, where do we need to go to find some of these hard to fill jobs. So but we're working very closely with that. Any questions for me? Thoughts? Yeah.
How are our mentorship programs working?
The mentorship program ended. We did a pilot program. It ran for about 6 months. Pete was part of that. I think he really, really enjoyed it. He was a good advocate for it. When we launched the second round, we had very, very low interest. So to the point of, we had one mentor that came forward. So we've met as a committee, met as a group to see what do we need to do, how do we need to promote this, how do we need to get people to understand it. We've paused it till the beginning of the year, and we're going to re-present it.
Did those people that participated feel that the mentorship program was valuable to them, those that were being mentored?
Yes. Yeah. You know, it was a very new concept. Anytime you do something new, it takes time to catch on. It's word of mouth. We're working a little bit with the career development program, thinking that if we pull some and right out of the career development program, right into the mentoring program, that could be a nice segue. Because those people are, you know, really having the opportunity. Alessandra does a great job. She brings in guest speakers from every department, so that group gets to meet everybody from the departments and understand what we do as a county. And if there's interest for that group to go work for another, you know, another department or things like that, so we keep our talent internally and really focus on that. So we're thinking that that might be a good segue, as well as keeping it open. I think the mentorship program doesn't need to be a set amount of time. I think it should be just a continuous thing. When people come in and they're like, you know, I'd really like to work with a mentor, and so that we can kind of keep it up on its feet a little more than just, we do this for 6 months and it's over. It's not, yeah. So I think we've got some tweaking to do, but definitely really want to keep it on the board. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? That's still off, so, okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Communications?
She's back. It's been a good month for McHenry County Communications. Gotta tell you all that I'm super excited for an event that we're gonna have tomorrow. Our good friends at EMA have coordinated with IEMA OHS, which is the Illinois Emergency Management and Office of Homeland Security, to provide us with a special training at the Regional Training Center to educate PIOs on best practices and give us a tabletop exercise to do for winter weather preparedness and communications. So we're going to have representatives from various municipalities, Mercy Health, and different county offices, so we can hone our skills and make sure that we're ready for the winter weather and can communicate with the public as best we can. We're also very happy to note that there's been a lot of great stories in the press lately about McHenry County. I don't know if you noticed, one of the front page stories was about the mobile health clinic on the Northwest Herald. I got a link to that in the report. I was very pleased to work with the Public Health Department to make sure that the Northwest Herald was there and have a good ribbon cutting ceremony, and very grateful for that. It was a beautiful day. We are also very pleased that leadership of Greater McHenry County could be there and see the clinic firsthand and see all the good that it's going to do for the community. Also, we're proud to work with McHenry County Economic Development Corporation. There's an entire series of videos now called Rise and Thrive, where McHenry County Economic Development Corporations met with various community individuals from our Tourism Bureau to a local manufacturer to even our Division of Transportation to learn about all the great reasons why McHenry County is the place to do business. So again, check out those videos. They're awesome. They're on our YouTube channel, and feel free to share them with your constituents. Also, our new court dog got her first radio appearance on My Huntley News. Don't worry, Dan and Kelly did the talking for her, and she was pretty well behaved for the most part. I think there was only one woof in there. But feel free to check out that interview too. They did a really great job. So that's pretty much the highlights that went on this month. Yes, social media, we have followers, increasing followers across all channels. And you can see some of the, best performing posts on the back of the page. Do you have any questions for me?
Anybody? Thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
When we're talking about like the social media channel reach, we're not taking out we're not spending any money to like push it, right? These are just all organic.
All organic.
Okay.
Right. Thank you. Come on up to the hot seat, Pete.
We're almost done. Thank you, Lisa. One thing I need to make sure we get in the minutes, Kathy. We are, Mike Iwaniki has hired a new social services director in the DAC. And I saw on my calendar for next week that individual will be at our Monday morning orientation. I just want to note that because we don't, with the new laws governing DAC, they don't really need to ask us permission. But I have authorized that position to be put on the roster, and it is funded in this year's budget, so I just put it on the record. There is a new spot down in DAC. Speaking of new spots and interviews, I know that Adam Wall and his team have been interviewing new directors of community development, and hopefully we'll have an announcement on that here in the next day or two. So that's good news. Been a lot of FOIA activity in the last few weeks. Folks, there's been a FOIAs for every one of your expenses. Nothing was exciting, but it was FOIA'd. Been multiple FOIAs on my employment agreement. So each time we give them some, then they want more and more and more and more. But again, not a lot of excitement there. Just a lot of activity there in other departments as well. But I guess it's kind of the season as well. Yesterday afternoon, Carrie and I went down to the attorney's office for the mental health board to kind of talk with them some more about the new sales tax and how it's changing their levy distribution, how it's changing, and the pace of that. Some of this I thought we had kind of made clear, but we made it more clear again yesterday. Connie Machini was also in the meeting, and we talked about their fund balance and how their fund balance has always had to kind of behave one way because they were on biannual twice a year distributions, and now they're going to get it 12 times a year. They're going to get money. So we talked about that and how that can maybe relax some of their their need for the hefty fund balances. We agreed that we're going to do some multi-year modeling. Again, we still only have 1 month of sales tax in. We might get another one today, right?
I just looked.
Just look. But we agreed that, you know, come February, March, we really need to kind of sit down and do some good projections and how this overlap of 5 months of sales tax coupled with property tax really put them in a really strong position as we take another look at their fund balance requirements too. But how they use these new tools is what we really want to help them with things. We are going to have some of this conversation tomorrow with Finance Committee. Chairman Scala wanted us to kind of talk a little bit about this tomorrow, and we'll be doing that as well. But also just answering questions about everything that's been swirling around related to the mental health sales tax. I mentioned Finance Chair Scala. Mike was in and met with Carrie and I on Monday, and we talked about kind of positioning ourselves with regards to our advanced McHenry County dollars and ARPA. Mostly looking towards December, but we are going to need to make sure everything is in the right buckets and columns as we move into fiscal 25. That's kind of a deadline. We got to make sure. You don't have to make sure exactly where things are going, but you need to know that they're in the right buckets. So we are going to be moving some things around. Also looking at our ARPA dollars and how they can assist us a little bit on some of our capital projects and ultimately our fiscal 25 budget. We'll have some more conversation on that. And then of course the subject of the FOP contract kind of came up there as we talked about that on Monday, and you know how we're going to challenge ourselves to meet that need.
Questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Future topics, just as a reminder, folks, one of the things that will come up at the next meeting also will be committee on committees, not our committee, but at the committee of the whole, so you should be thinking about that. This is reorganization time in December for the board, so, you know, yes.
And put it in perspective, thinking about what on that, like whether we want to stay on
Well,
committees or move committees.
I mean, first off, what your preference is, you know, individually, where do you want to be, you know, the next 2 years? You know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will get everything that you want, because I don't, you know, obviously if 18 people want to be on one committee, that's not possible. But this is the time usually that if you're going to move committees or reshuffle things or whatever, it's not as difficult this time as it was 2 years ago because we don't have half of the board being new. I mean, the last time it was a much tougher project just because you had 9 people that had never, you know, were brand new. We're going to have, what, 3 new people, 4 new people? 4, but John's been here before, so it's not, it's really 3 brand new people and 1 who's been here in the past. And so I don't think we have the same level. Traditionally, for the month of December, before that organization happens, those people fill into the slots wherever, you know, so we'll have your replacement, sorry, but, you know, it'll for that meeting. But that could be different. And so, like you said, if you have something that you want to do different, this is the time to speak up, you know, and let the committee on committees know, you know, hey, I want to be on, you know, your pick. But if you want to be doing something different than you're doing right now, this is the time to talk about it. Not, you know, if you wait till February, you miss the chance. So that's all. Yes.
Just in speaking with the chairman the other day, I know that he intends, as he has done in the past, upon every election cycle, he'll send out an email and say, what are you thinking? But it's not just committees, it's also liaison positions. And my understanding is he'll have a list of those as well. So whatever you're the liaison to, if that's something that you want to continue or change, that would be the time to share that with the chairman and let him know what you are thinking.
And may I ask, can you just go over the structure of how the committee and committees, I know there are certain things.
There's one person from each district to be on the committee. And that committee's job is ultimately to recommend to the full board a slate of who's on what committees.
And it's the senior person from the district?
It can be either one of you if you agree on it, you know, so if you sit down with but otherwise it would be the same, if there's If there's a deadlock, then it goes to the senior.
And then there's a certain structure to the, like, the co-chair is automatic, like, remind me about that.
The structure of what, are the committee on committees?
Who's the chair of the committee?
The vice chairman is usually the chairman of the committee. Just because the chair, it's actually the committees that the county board has. Although the chairman is the top of the list, it's not necessarily chair's decision to make how we organize the committees. And it's just a difference. In the past, and if you go back 8 years, the position of chairman was also something that was being paid, of not of the committees, but of the county board. And so that's how they did it in the past. I don't think there's anything magical about it. It's a question of, you know, what do people want to do? It's a chance to give board members the opportunity to move around if they've decided that they would be better serving in another committee. You know, we ought to hear about that.
And can I just remind, I mean, our government, McHenry County government is set up to be organized and to work from that committee structure, right? Committees are the ones that recommend a position to the board, and then the board considers and discusses that. So, I mean, this is the time for you to think about, you know, what you want to do and where you want to come from. But that is the structure, so.
One last question. And then the chairs of the committee are based on seniority of each of the committees?
No, the committee chairs are something that, actually, that's one place that we've allowed the chairman of the county board to have some input. And so, you know, that's, I mean, we make those recommendations too, but in the past, it's been something that both sides agreed on.
The first time around, you know, it's just like,
No,
something
no,
happened, it's
I don't
magic,
care
you know.
who you are. Yeah, I don't care who you are. The first time around, you're just, you know, drinking from that fire hose, trying to figure out what's going on. But anyway, I just thought it made sense to raise it with people and let you know if you want to do something different, this is the time to raise your hand and say, I would prefer to do whatever, okay?
The committee of committees, that'll be after the December count?
It'll be usually after the December count. Well, actually, no.
It doesn't have to be.
No, it'll be the December organizational meeting.
Okay.
When we swear in the new members, that's when they say, here's who's on the committee on committees.
Okay.
And so the meeting will be in December sometime. I don't know if there's, I mean, I suspect someone's looked at it on the calendar, not me. I don't know when that is yet. Okay. Any other future topics? Anything else anyone wants to talk about? Sorry you're leaving us.
Thank you.
You know, but elections are elections.
We are elections, yep.
So,
But thank you for the past years of service. Truly.
It has been an honor.
Put in a lot of work and study.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn? By Teresa, seconded by Terry. All those in favor say aye. Aye. You're out of here.